Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Namco sitting here with Dustin, and in this fantasy football video, we're going to talk about a waiver wire show. Guys that went undrafted in a lot of leagues since all the drafts are pretty much done and the season's about to start.
Before we get into it though, don't forget about our Survivor and Weekly Pick'em game. A lot of great prizes. It's going to be fun. A couple more days to sign up. But let's get into these must-adds. And we got 4 running backs here who we were kind of surprised how many leagues are still available in. We start with Michael Bush, only owning 80% of leagues. It looks like he's going to come back way sooner than thought with that thumb injury. Go ahead and pick him up. Jerome Harrison, obviously with Hardesty out of the way, huge value there. And then you got Clinton Portis and Cadillac Williams. You know, all these guys have a huge upside. Shocked they're not owned in more leagues. We say they're must-adds. Go ahead and pick them up.
And the receiver that's a must-add is Devin Aromashadu of the Chicago Bears. We love this guy coming as a sleeper, especially this guy over here.
Love
and
him.
then Johnny Knox seemed to take a lot of the hype away from him, and Knox seemed to get added much more often than Aromashadu right now. But we're saying that on the Mike Martz offense, all receivers are going to have value, and Devin's the biggest receiver, therefore probably the best bet to be a red zone target. We're just saying he should probably be added in almost all formats.
All right, now let's take a look at some guys that we think are must-adds in deeper leagues, and we start with Justin Forsett. You know, he's just announced he's going to be the starter out there in Seattle. He's only on about 75% of leagues right now. Now, he is going to be in a timeshare with Leon Washington, but we still think Forsett has an upside. He's a starting running back on an NFL team. He should be on more than 75% of leagues.
And the next guy we're going to talk about is Tim Hightower of the Cardinals, owning 60% of leagues. Beanie Wells owners are probably hating this guy if you drafted a few weeks ago. Ken Wisenhunt's killing me and all Beanie Wells owners that, like I said, I did draft a few weeks ago because then it looked like the split was going to be 80-20 in favor of Wells. Well, Wisenhunt said that Hightower's his type of football player and he's getting a lot of first-team reps and it might be a little bit closer to 50-50. So obviously he should be added in probably all deeper leagues.
All right, moving on. We got Leon Washington. We just talked about Forsett, but don't forget about Washington. One thing we like about Washington, only owning 30% of leagues right now, so he's a great guy to take a gamble on, especially in leagues that count return yards. He's going to be their kick returner and their punt returner. Nice bonus there. He's going to have some value in PPR leagues. Leon Washington's just a decent guy to stash on your bench and have some upside.
The next guy is Donald Brown, only owned in 50% of leagues. I find it funny how last year when he was a rookie, everybody was drafting him. He was owned universally then. This year, 50% of leagues. Now, Adai's 1 year older, and he's in a contract year. Brown's probably going to be the back of the future. So in deeper leagues, he's a great speculative add right now.
And at least handcuff him if you got Adai.
As a minimum.
All right, now let's talk about some guys we don't think it should necessarily be added, but they're worth at least keeping an eye on. The first guy is Derek Anderson out there at the Cardinals. You know, they said that Hall had a great preseason, but Anderson's going to be given a shot on that great offense, only on 15% of leagues. We wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being a top 15 quarterback.
And then we're going to talk about Devin Thomas of the Washington Redskins, owned in 20% of leagues. Don't believe the Shanahan hype. Old man Joey Galloway isn't going to be starting. Devin Thomas is. He's a young, big receiver, and if he creates a good chemistry with Donovan McNabb, we wouldn't be surprised if he's the top scoring fantasy wide receiver on the Washington Redskins.
We got one more guy to talk about it, but before we get into it, this is just a portion of the list. We're going to have a full list up on the site later this week, so check that out. The last guy we're going to talk about in this video is Dustin Keller of the Jets. Only on 55% of leagues, this guy had a great end of the year last year and in the playoffs. You know, he really came on, a touchdown in every single playoff game he played in. You know, I think he could easily be a top 10 tight end. So don't be afraid to take a gamble on him. And Brent was really high on Brent Selleck coming into last year. I'm liking on Dustin Keller, Brent, Dustin. Just saying. It could happen.
All right, so that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Now, make sure we've got a lot of things going on. We're on iTunes, where you can follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Advice. Get into those games. They're going to be a lot of fun, great prizes.